You've been lied to about economy class. Airlines won't tell you this, but most of the misery you face on a long-haul flight, the aching back, the throbbing headache, the soul-crushing exhaustion, is actually avoidable. It's not an unavoidable consequence of air travel. It's a failure of preparation. Think about your last long flight. $8 for a bottle of water, a meal at a bizarre hour, the struggle to sleep while the person next to you is playing a video game without headphones. You end up landing feeling like you've been in a minor car accident, needing 2 days just to recover. Because here's the truth, surviving 10, 12, even 15 hours in a cramped seat isn't about luck. It's about strategy. And today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how the seasoned travel pros do it. If you're someone who genuinely dreads the thought of being trapped in the middle seat, your legs cramping, your back aching, and your sanity slowly unraveling, then stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact 15 tips that transform a brutal long haul into something you can actually get through, without suffering the way most passengers do. We're talking about landing feeling ready for your trip, not ready for a hospital bed. And here's the catch. Most of these tips aren't obvious. Airlines don't exactly want you to know how to beat their system. But once you do, you'll never fly the same way again. Let's jump right into the survival strategy. Tip 1. Seat selection is survival. The difference between a nightmare flight and a tolerable one almost always comes down to where you park your rear for the next half day. This isn't just about legroom. It's about positioning away from chaos. If you can, avoid seats near the galley or bathrooms. I know the bathroom proximity seems convenient, but I promise you, it's not. Why? Those areas get constant foot traffic, people stretching, queuing for the lavatory, lights flashing on and off, and the clatter of the crew prepping meals. And yes, unwanted smells. You're trying to sleep. This is the flight's Times Square. Aim for bulkhead or exit row seats for that glorious extra legroom. But here's the insider hack. You must check the seat maps using websites like Seat Guru or Expert Flyer before you pick. Some extra legroom seats, especially in the bulkhead, actually have limited recline. Your tray table is stored in the armrest, which makes the seat slightly narrower, or they have blocked under-seat storage, meaning your carry-on essentials have to go in the overhead bin. That defeats the purpose of having your survival kit close. The best seat isn't just about legroom. It's about positioning yourself away from chaos and vetting the seat's real features. Tip 2. Hydration is your superpower. This is non-negotiable. Airplane cabins are drier than most deserts. Seriously, humidity sometimes drops below 20%. That means dehydration hits fast and hard. And dehydration isn't just about feeling thirsty. It causes headaches, fatigue, dizziness, and here's the kicker. It actually worsens jet lag because it impacts your body's ability to recover. The golden rule I follow is simple. 1 full cup of water for every hour in the air. That's a lot, which is why you have to bring your own reusable bottle and fill it up post-security. Don't rely on the tiny cups the crew hands out. This one might hurt, but it's essential. Avoid alcohol and too much coffee. They are diuretics. They actively dehydrate you faster than you can say turbulence. I'm not saying skip the celebratory glass of wine, but counter it with twice the amount of water and keep the coffee to 1 cup max. Water isn't optional. It's your #1 defense against long-haul exhaustion and jet lag. Tip 3. Dress like a pro. Forget fashion shows. Long flights demand function over style. If you see a traveler in jeans and a stiff shirt on a 14-hour flight, you know they're a novice. Layers are your best friend because airplane cabins swing wildly. One moment, you're in a freezer. The next, you're stuffy and hot. A t-shirt, a light long sleeve, and a warm, packable fleece or cardigan is the perfect combo. Go for breathable fabrics like cotton blends, leggings, or loose joggers. Crucially, wear slip-on shoes. This makes security checks a breeze, and more importantly, allows you to easily take them off and put them back on for those awkward, middle-of-the-night bathroom trips. Tip 4. Protect your circulation. This deserves its own dedicated tip because it is a health and comfort game changer. Compression socks are non-negotiable. They aren't just for seniors or people with medical issues. They are for everyone on a flight longer than 4 hours. When you sit for a long time, blood circulation slows down, which increases swelling in your feet and ankles. And critically, it increases the risk of deep vein thrombosis, DVT, or blood clots. Compression socks apply gentle pressure to encourage blood flow back up to your heart. Pair them with hydration and movement, and your body will thank you when you land with legs that feel refreshed, not puffy and leaden. Protect your legs, protect your trip. This small investment prevents major discomfort and a serious health risk. Tip 5. Master the art of carry-on essentials. Your carry-on isn't just a bag, it's your personal survival kit. You cannot rely on the airline for anything more than a small, scratchy blanket and a pair of cheap earbuds. Here's your non-negotiable checklist. Noise-canceling headphones, a beefy power bank for at least 2 full charges, a high-quality eye mask, the contoured kind is best, a supportive travel pillow, and crucially, a toothbrush, mini toothpaste, and a change of socks and underwear. Being able to freshen up halfway through the flight is a psychological reset. Put your absolute essentials, mask, headphones, phone, charging cable, in a small pouch or bag within your carry-on. That way you're not rummaging through your suitcase and annoying your neighbor just to find your chapstick. Everything you need in your seat should be accessible in a moment. If it makes you feel human and helps you sleep, keep it within arm's reach. Tip 6. Noise is the enemy. If you can only invest in one piece of gear for long-haul travel, let it be noise-canceling headphones. The constant, low-frequency hum of the engines, the sudden cry of a baby, the endless announcements, it's all a subtle form of auditory torture that wears you down over hours. Quality noise-canceling headphones don't just block sound, they create a pocket of peace that preserves your sanity and allows your mind to truly relax. The less your brain has to process unwanted noise, the less fatigued you'll be. If headphones aren't in your budget, high-quality foam earplugs are the next best thing, specifically the ones designed for sleeping. Silence is survival. It's a psychological buffer against the airborne world. Invest in it. Tip 7. Train your sleep like a pilot. Sleep on a plane isn't luck. It's preparation and strategic execution. If you're crossing time zones, the prep starts 2 days before you fly. Start gently adjusting your sleep schedule toward your destination's time. If you're flying east to Europe, try to go to bed an hour earlier each night. On board, create a sleep ritual. Use your comfy eye mask, your supportive neck pillow, the ones with chin support are a game changer, and a lightweight blanket. Avoid watching screens right before trying to sleep. Instead, listen to a calming audiobook, white noise, or a meditation track. The best way to use your neck pillow is to turn it backwards. Put the thickest part under your chin. This supports your head from nodding forward, which is what actually jolts you awake. Melatonin can help reset your body clock, but always check with your doctor first. Tip 8. Hack the airline meal schedule. Here's the ugly truth. Airplane meals aren't served to optimize your comfort. They're served to keep the crew on schedule. That's why you'll often get fed at bizarre hours that severely mess with your body clock and your sleep plan. Order a special meal when booking. This is gold. Whether it's vegan, vegetarian, Hindu, or gluten-free, these meals are always distributed first. Why? Because the crew needs to ensure the right meal gets to the right seat before the main service rush. This means you eat 20 to 30 minutes ahead of everyone else, and you get to finish, put your tray away, and start your sleep ritual while everyone else is still waiting for their plastic tray. Also, be mindful of what you're eating. Snacks are non-negotiable. Tip 9. But avoid heavy, greasy foods. They'll make you feel sluggish and bloated in the air. Stick to light, fresh, protein-rich choices. Take control of when and what you eat, and you'll feel less like a zombie when you land. Tip 9. Snacks are non-negotiable. Airline meals are small, infrequent, and often lack real nutritional value. Your stomach shouldn't be at the mercy of the meal cart. Bring your own smart snacks. We're talking about protein-rich items that provide slow-burn energy and keep you satiated. Nuts, protein bars, dried fruit, trail mix, or a homemade sandwich. A personal must-have is a bag of dried ginger. It's fantastic for settling the stomach if you experience any turbulence or nausea, and it's a healthy alternative to sugary sweets. Think of your snacks as fuel, not treats. Keep your energy stable, and you keep your mood stable. Tip 10. Entertainment is a weapon. Relying on in-flight entertainment is risky. The screens may be broken, the movie selection may be limited, or the system might be outdated. Nothing is worse than being bored on a 12-hour flight. Your entertainment must be redundant. Download at least 2 movies, a full season of a TV show, several audiobooks, and multiple playlists on your phone or tablet before you fly. Don't forget offline games or puzzles, something that forces your brain to engage differently than watching a screen. The goal isn't just to kill time, but to have variety. Switching from a movie to an audiobook to a puzzle prevents that dull, repetitive feeling of the flight dragging on. The more options you bring, the faster the hours melt away. Variety is the spice of airborne life. Tip 11. Move or lose. This is the anti-stiffness strategy. As we discussed with the compression socks, blood circulation slows dramatically when you sit for a decade. Every 2 to 3 hours, you must get up and walk the aisle. Even a 2-minute lap helps reset your body and mind. Can't get out of your seat because you're in the window or the aisle is blocked? Do seated stretches, ankle circles, seated leg lifts, shoulder rolls, gently pulling your knees to your chest. Look up a routine of in-seat yoga stretches and make it a habit. Crucially, do a set of simple stretches right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up. It will prevent that stiff, concrete feeling when you finally get up. Movement isn't optional. It's medicine in the sky. Tip 12. Sanitize like a pro. Let's be honest. Airplanes aren't cleaned as thoroughly as you'd like to believe. You are sitting in a petri dish of recycled air. The hot spots for bacteria are the seatbelt buckles, the tray table, the armrests, and the overhead air nozzle. Bring disinfectant wipes and clean your entire personal space as soon as you sit down. Don't be shy about it. Also, pack hand sanitizer and use it religiously, especially before and after meals and bathroom visits. A little preventative hygiene goes a long way toward not catching the airplane crud. The clean freak survives longest in the sky. Control the germs in your immediate environment. Tip 13. Optimize your tech setup. Don't assume anything about the onboard technology. Airplane Wi-Fi is unreliable, expensive, and often too slow to use for anything meaningful. Download everything important before you leave. That means offline maps for your destination, boarding passes, confirmation emails, and important work files. Bring a multi-port charger if you have several devices, and critically, a compact international adapter if you're landing somewhere abroad. Being able to charge your phone the moment you land is an essential bridge to booking transportation and finding your hotel. Tech prep on the ground saves frustrating, high-stress moments in the air. Tip 14. Guard your mental game. Long flights mess with your head as much as your body. The sheer duration can feel overwhelming and crushing. You have to manage your mindset. Set small, achievable milestones to break the flight into manageable chunks. Watch 2 movies, then nap for 3 hours. Read 3 chapters of my book, then stretch and listen to an audiobook. After dinner service, I'll do my hygiene routine and try to sleep until breakfast. This technique tricks your brain into handling the flight more easily. You are focusing on a 3-hour block, not a 14-hour marathon. Don't look at the clock constantly. Manage your mindset, and the hours won't crush you. You are the one in control of the timeline. Tip 15. Always have a post-landing plan. Surviving the flight is only half the battle. The real challenge? Functioning optimally when you land and minimizing jet lag. Your recovery starts the moment the wheels touch down. First, change your clothes. Get out of your sleeping clothes and into something fresh and clean. This is a powerful psychological reset. Second, schedule a light activity, like walking outdoors as soon as you can. Exposure to natural sunlight is the single best way to reset your body clock and crush jet lag. Even 20 minutes outside looking at the sky can dramatically improve your transition. Your recovery starts the moment the wheels touch down. Don't go straight to a dark room, go straight to the sun. So what is the master key to surviving a long haul in economy? It can be summed up in 3 words. Preparation beats suffering. The passengers who dread these flights most are the ones who show up to the airport unprepared, relying on what the airline gives them. They suffer because they choose to be passive participants in their own journey. But now you know the secrets. You are no longer a passive passenger, you are a proactive traveler. If you remember just one thing from this entire video, let it be this. Economy doesn't have to mean misery. It just means you need to be smarter than the average traveler. You can't afford to leave your comfort, health, and sanity up to a low-cost airline. You have to take control of your environment. So next time you're flying 10+ hours, apply these tips from the moment you book, selecting that perfect seat, to the moment you land, getting that sunlight. When you arrive, you'll feel better, you'll recover faster, and you'll actually enjoy your trip instead of spending the first 2 days exhausted. Now, I want to hear from you. We covered 15 essential tips, but I know there are more. What if I told you that airlines and airports quietly hold back 15 powerful rights that could completely change the way you travel, especially if you're over 65? Rights that could get you faster boarding, personal assistance, medical security exemptions, even free upgrades or refunds that most travelers never claim, simply because no one tells them they exist. You've earned the right to travel with ease and dignity, but the truth is, many seniors are still treated like afterthoughts in today's fast-paced airports. That ends today, because in this video, I'm revealing the 15 airport rights most seniors miss and exactly how to claim each one. By the end, you'll walk into any airport knowing what to say, who to ask, and how to make your travel experience smoother, safer, and stress-free every single time. If you've ever felt rushed through security, brushed off at the check-in counter, or left waiting for help that never came, you're not alone. Millions of travelers over 65 report that airports often overlook them. But here's the truth. You have more rights and protections than almost any other passenger group. These laws, like the Air Carrier Access Act and programs such as TSA Cares, were designed to make sure your age, health, or mobility never hold you back from seeing the world. The problem? Most airlines won't advertise them. They'll quietly bury these benefits in policy pages because helping you claim them takes time and costs them money. So let's fix that. Let's walk step by step through your airport journey from check-in to arrival, and I'll show you every insider secret the travel industry doesn't want you to know. Here's the truth. If you're over 65 and need help navigating the airport, you have the right to full assistance from curb to gate. Under the Air Carrier Access Act, airlines are legally required to provide trained staff to escort you through every step: check-in, security, boarding, and baggage claim. You don't need a wheelchair to qualify. The law covers any traveler who needs assistance due to age, mobility, or temporary medical conditions. All you have to say is, "I need guided assistance to and from the gate." Once you say that, they must assign someone to help you. No excuses. If they delay, calmly ask for a complaint resolution officer. Every airline is required to have one on duty at all times. Here's a pro tip. Call your airline 48 hours before your flight and note it in your reservation. You'll skip long lines and have smoother boarding from the start. Security checkpoints can feel overwhelming, especially when you're asked to remove shoes, belts, or unpack medication. Here's something the TSA rarely mentions. There's a free program called TSA Cares that gives travelers with disabilities, medical conditions, or age-related needs a personal assistant through security. Call 1-855-787-2227 at least 72 hours before your flight. You'll get connected with a passenger support specialist, someone trained to walk you through the screening process one-on-one. When you arrive, simply say, "I'm registered with TSA Cares. Could I have a passenger support specialist assist me?" They'll guide you through a separate line, help handle bins, and make sure your screening is respectful and unhurried. And yes, you can keep your shoes on if you're 75 or older, unless there's an alarm. Most travelers don't realize that. You've probably heard the announcement. Now pre-boarding for passengers needing extra time. But most seniors don't realize this is a legal right, not a courtesy. If you're over 65 and prefer extra time to get settled, you can pre-board any flight in the U.S. Just tell the gate agent, "I'd like to pre-board under the Air Carrier Access Act." No explanation or proof of disability required. This gives you time to safely stow carry-ons, find your seat, and settle in without being rushed by the crowd. And here's the secret. If anyone questions it, mention the DOT regulation 14 CFR Part 382.93. It specifically protects your right to pre-board when needed. Even if you don't use a wheelchair daily, you can request one at any U.S. airport, free of charge, simply to conserve energy or navigate long terminals. You can even request gate-to-gate assistance for connecting flights. This means someone will meet you at your arrival gate and escort you, sometimes by motor cart, straight to your next gate. When booking your ticket online, look for an option that says Request Assistance or Wheelchair Needed. Or tell the agent, "I'd like gate-to-gate wheelchair service noted on my reservation." And if you want help at baggage claim or the curb after landing, that's included too. Don't leave until they help you retrieve your bag safely. If you travel with insulin, inhalers, pacemakers, or oxygen, here's your right. You can bring unlimited medication and medical equipment on board, even liquids over 3.4 ounces, as long as you declare them. Here's what to say at the checkpoint. These are medically necessary items. They must be screened separately and handled with respect. You can request private screening if needed, and you have the right to stay seated during inspection. A helpful tip: keep all meds in original labeled containers and pack them in your carry-on, never your checked bag. If you're flying with a spouse, caregiver, or adult child, you can request to sit together at no extra charge when needed for assistance. Under the Department of Transportation's accessibility guidelines, airlines are required to seat companions together when it supports mobility, medical, or cognitive needs. Just tell the check-in agent, "We need adjacent seating for accessibility." They may reassign seats or move others. You don't have to pay for premium seating just to stay together. Most large airports now offer quiet rooms or accessible seating zones designed for travelers who need reduced noise and a slower pace. These areas are rarely advertised, but you can request access at the information desk or airport assistance counter. Say, "Do you have an accessibility or quiet waiting area near my gate?" It's a game changer for travelers with hearing aids, anxiety, or simply those who prefer calm before the flight. If someone is dropping you off or helping you through security, they can often request a gate pass from the airline desk. This allows a family member, caregiver, or friend to escort you right to the gate, even if they're not flying. Airlines issue these under passenger assistance policies, especially for seniors, minors, or travelers with mobility needs. Tell the desk agent, "I'm assisting a passenger with accessibility needs. Can I request a gate pass?" Bring a photo ID, and you're good to go. Here's a little-known money saver. Airlines must allow free check baggage for mobility and medical devices. That includes wheelchairs, canes, portable oxygen, CPAP machines, and even mobility scooters. You can also carry a small medical bag on board in addition to your standard carry-on. It doesn't count toward your limit. Tell the counter agent, "This is a medical device and should be checked free under DOT guidelines." Always mention it politely but confidently. Most staff know the rule. They just rarely bring it up. Every airline operating in the U.S. is legally required to have a complaint resolution officer on call at all times, in person or by phone. If you ever face discrimination, disrespect, or denial of service due to age or accessibility, ask immediately, "I'd like to speak with your complaint resolution officer." They're trained to resolve accessibility issues on the spot. They can issue refunds, upgrades, or make boarding accommodations without delay. Knowing this single right often changes the entire tone of your airport experience. If your wheelchair, walker, or medical device is delayed or damaged, the airline must repair, replace, or compensate you immediately. This falls under the Air Carrier Access Act and DOT's Mishandled Assistive Devices policy. Even if your flight is delayed because the airline failed to provide promised assistance, you can request a refund or travel voucher. Document everything. Take photos, note times, and ask for the agent's name. Then say, I'm requesting compensation under the Air Carrier Access Act for missed assistance. Persistence pays, and airlines know you know your rights. While most airlines don't advertise them anymore, senior discounts still exist. They're just hidden. United, Southwest, and Delta occasionally offer senior fares by phone or on select routes. These tickets are often refundable and flexible. To check, simply call the reservation line and ask, are there senior fares available for this route? You might not find them online, but phone agents still have access to those options. And if you're a member of AMARP, you can unlock partner deals with British Airways, American Airlines Vacations, and more. Here's something few travelers know. If your flight departs from the U.S., even if it's international, the Air Carrier Access Act still protects you. That means the airline must honor all accessibility requests, including assistance in foreign airports through its partners. When returning home, mention, my flight originates from the U.S. and assistance is required under the Air Carrier Access Act. This ensures consistency in your experience, even when traveling abroad. If you use a manual wheelchair or mobility scooter, you can request to remain in it until the aircraft door, not just at check-in. Say, I'd like to use my personal wheelchair to the aircraft door. Ground staff must then safely transfer it to the cargo hold and return it to you immediately upon landing. If they try to check it early, politely reference DOT rules under 14 CFR 382.41. It's your right to stay comfortable until boarding. Here's the final truth. Your travel comfort isn't a luxury, it's a right. From bringing your own small seat cushion to carrying snacks or water for medical reasons, you're allowed reasonable personal comfort items. You can even bring your own lightweight blanket or lumbar support pillow through security. Just say, these are for personal comfort and medical support. Small details like this transform a stressful journey into a dignified one. Because at this stage of life, travel shouldn't be a challenge. It should be a joy. So let's recap. You now know how to request assistance from curb to gate, how to skip long security lines with TSA cares, how to pre-board without explanation, and how to claim free baggage for medical devices. You know the power of the complaint resolution officer, how to get compensation when service falls short, and even how to find senior-only fares airlines try to hide. These aren't favors. They're your federal rights. And when you use them, you're not just making your journey smoother. You're setting the standard for respect and dignity for every senior traveler who comes after you. So the next time you fly, remember, you're not at the mercy of the airport. You're in control. You have 15 powerful rights that protect your comfort, your time, and your independence. You've earned this stage of travel, the right to explore the world with confidence. If this helped you, share it with a friend or loved one who's traveling soon. And don't forget to subscribe to BoardiFly, where we uncover the secrets airlines don't want you to know and make every journey a little smarter, safer, and smoother. Because travel freedom doesn't end at 65, it's just beginning. Imagine this. You've just landed after a long international flight. You stretch, gather your things, and start moving with the crowd toward passport control. The signs all point in one direction, customs and immigration. And suddenly, you feel that little flutter in your stomach. Not because you did anything wrong, but because this is the one part of travel where the rules feel invisible, the stakes feel high, and every traveler has the same thought in the back of their mind. Please don't let me say the wrong thing. Customs and immigration officers don't look for guilty travelers. They look for nervous ones. They look for uncertainty. They look for hesitation. And here's the part most travelers never hear. You can be 100% innocent, follow every rule, and still end up in secondary screening simply because you didn't know how to confidently answer routine questions. So today we're going behind the scenes. We're going to break down the 10 most common customs and immigration questions you'll face at the airport, and the smart, confident way to answer them. Not scripted answers, not robotic lines. Real-world travel guidance, From someone who's been through hundreds of border checkpoints and seen how fast your trip can go wrong if you don't know how this system works. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what officers are listening for, what they look for, and how to move through the border like a traveler who understands the system, not one who fears it. Let's begin. Question number 1. What is the purpose of your trip? This seems simple, but it's also the biggest filter question. Immigration isn't asking for your travel philosophy. They want one clear category: tourism, business, study transit, visiting family, medical, diplomatic. Anything outside that list triggers more questions. What they don't want is a life story. They don't want to hear, well, I'm seeing a friend, but I might explore job opportunities, and I'm thinking of checking out a co-working space. That answer can pull you straight into secondary screening. Keep it simple, clear, confident. I'm here for tourism, or I'm here for a business conference. If they want more detail, they'll ask. And here's something most travelers don't know. When you sound uncertain, the officer assumes you're hiding something. Not because they think you're dangerous, but because hesitation often equals intent to work illegally, overstay, or misrepresent your trip. So the golden rule here? Keep your tone relaxed, answer calmly, and don't feel like you need to justify your presence. You already have permission to be there by arriving with a valid passport and entry rights. And if that surprised you, wait until you hear the next one, because this is where most people accidentally trigger suspicion without realizing it. Question number 2, where are you staying? They're not trying to invade your privacy. They're confirming you have planned accommodations, a key indicator you're a genuine traveler. What they want? A hotel name, an Airbnb address, a family member's home. What they don't want? Oh, I haven't booked yet. I'm staying with a friend, I think. Just exploring, nothing planned. Those answers wave a red flag. No plan equals risk of overstaying or working illegally. Even if you're backpacking and booking along the way, you still need a first night plan. Say your first hotel or hostel, that's it. And here's a little insider guidance. Always have your address written down or accessible on your phone. Far too many travelers freeze trying to remember their hotel name after a 12-hour flight. Immigration doesn't care if you booked a luxury suite or a budget capsule bed. They care that you planned like a real traveler. Next up, the one question that makes even seasoned travelers nervous, but shouldn't. Question number 3, how long will you be staying? This isn't a trap. They're not hoping you guess wrong. They want to hear that you know your itinerary and you plan to return home. Clear timeframes equal legitimate travel. I'm staying 10 days. Or, I depart on March 12th. What you don't want to say, I'm not sure yet. Maybe a few months, maybe longer. I might extend if I like it. Those phrases don't sound adventurous. They sound uncertain about returning. And overstaying visas is one of the biggest immigration concerns worldwide. If your plans are flexible, keep it simple. I have a return ticket for the 12th, but I may take a flight a day earlier if needed. That tells the officer you have a return plan. You understand your stay limit. You're not playing immigration roulette. And here's the quiet truth most travelers never hear. Officers aren't just checking your answers. They're checking your confidence, your clarity, and whether your story makes sense. But if you think clarity is enough, wait until we talk about money, because this next one catches unprepared travelers constantly. Question number 4, what do you do for work? You don't need to impress anyone here. You don't need to justify your career or prove you're successful. Immigration doesn't care if you're a CEO or between jobs. They care that your story is consistent with your travel plans. If you're employed, answer clearly. I'm a teacher. I work in IT. I'm a nurse. I'm in finance. If you're self-employed, I run an online business. I work as a freelance designer. If you're retired, I'm retired. Simple, confident, direct. Never over-explain. Never sound defensive. And don't say anything that implies you're seeking work in the country unless you're on a visa that allows it. Which leads us to the next one. The one question absolutely nobody wants to be asked, but everyone needs to be ready for. Question number 5. Are you carrying any food, cash, or restricted items? This is where many travelers think they can just slip through. Bad idea. Border agencies around the world take food, agriculture products, currency, and medicine rules seriously, and penalties can be brutal: fines, confiscation, secondary interrogation, even denied entry in extreme cases. If you have food, declare it, even if it's snacks. Even if you think everyone brings this, same with cash. Declare if above the legal threshold. You don't get taxed. They just want records for anti-laundering laws. And medicine? Carry prescriptions and always declare anything controlled, strong, or unusual. The rule here isn't about punishment. It's about transparency. Customs officers trust confident, honest travelers. Even if you declare something permitted, you're safer than the traveler who tries to hide it. And speaking of trust, here comes the question that quietly determines how smoothly your entry goes next. Question number 6. Do you have a return ticket? Some countries won't even let you board the plane without proof of return or onward travel. Others check upon arrival. But here's what most people don't realize. Return ticket doesn't always mean flying home. It means you have a confirmed plan to leave the country before your stay ends. One-way ticket travelers make officers nervous. Not because it's illegal, but because it signals potential overstay. So if you travel open-ended, use this approach. I have onward travel booked after this stay. And yes, when many long-term travelers use refundable tickets or flight reservation services for backup proof. Perfectly legal, as long as you're prepared. Because at the border, confidence beats confusion every time. Now, the next question is often phrased casually, but it's one of the most important ones. Question number 7. Who are you traveling with? If you're solo, just say so. Confidence in solo travel signals independence and planning, not suspicion. If you're traveling with family or friends, keep it simple. My spouse and 2 kids. My friend, we're visiting together. What you don't want to say, I'm meeting someone I've only spoken with online. We haven't met in person yet, but we're planning to stay together. It's complicated. Border agents don't like complicated. Complicated suggests risk. Complicated makes their instincts activate. If you're meeting someone abroad, perfectly fine. Just frame it cleanly. I'm traveling solo, but meeting a friend who lives here. That's honest, clear, and tension-free. And before we continue, I want to pause here for just a second. Because if you're still watching, it means you're not just traveling. You're mastering travel. You're becoming the kind of passenger who never feels intimidated at a border crossing again. So if you love uncovering real travel knowledge like this, the kind airlines don't advertise and airports don't explain, make sure you're subscribed to BoardiFly. This channel is built for travelers who don't just want to get there. They want to travel smarter, smoother, and more confidently every single time. All right, let's keep going. Because this next question, it turns even calm travelers nervous. Question number 8. Do you know anyone here? This question tests your ties, not your personal life. Officers want to know whether you're here with local support or arriving without a plan. If you're visiting someone, say so. Yes, I'm visiting my aunt. Yes, a friend lives here. We're meeting for sightseeing. If you're not, that's also fine. No, I'm here for tourism on my own. What you don't want to do is suddenly over-explain. Well, I do know someone, but not really. We mostly talk online, and I might see them if... That sounds unsure, and unsure is the enemy here. Straightforward answers build trust, and trust moves you through the border fast. Now, let's talk money, because here's a question that seems innocent but reveals everything. Question number 9. How much money are you traveling with? This isn't about judging your finances. It's about confirming you can support your stay. They're not asking if you're wealthy. They're asking if you can afford your trip without working illegally or depending on the government. You don't need a speech. You don't need to announce your life savings. Just a simple response. I have a credit card and access to funds, or I have $800 cash and cards. If asked, you should be able to show proof. That's not suspicion. It's standard immigration procedure worldwide. There's a quiet power in answering calmly, as if this whole process is routine, because to frequent travelers, it is. But the final question, the one most people aren't prepared for, is the one that determines whether you head to baggage claim or step into an interview room. Question number 10, do you have anything to declare? Every country has a declaration card or digital form. You check boxes, you sign, you submit, and then an officer may still ask. Your answer should match your form, always. Even a small mismatch looks suspicious. And remember, declaring isn't admitting wrongdoing. Declaration is honesty, and honesty moves you through the line. There's a hidden truth here. International borders don't operate on punishment. They operate on compliance. A traveler who calmly declares snacks passes faster than the one sweating over a forgotten apple in their backpack. Now here's where most travelers stop. They think they just need answers. They think confidence comes from memorization. But confidence comes from understanding the why behind every question. So let's pull back the curtain. Why border officers ask these questions? They're not judging your life. They're not hoping you mess up. They're not suspicious of every traveler. They're looking for 5 things. You know why you're here. You plan to leave when you're supposed to. You have the means to support yourself. You're not breaking import-export rules. Your story makes sense. That's it. Immigration isn't about intimidation. It's about clarity. And here's the truth most travelers never hear. A secure, calm traveler is a welcome traveler. A nervous traveler becomes a question mark, even if they've done nothing wrong. Your tone matters. Your body language matters. Your simplicity matters. And that brings us to the final mindset shift, the one that turns every border crossing from tension into ease. The traveler mindset that wins every time. You are not begging to enter. You're not hoping to be allowed in. You're simply confirming you follow the rules, and then you're on your way. Immigration isn't the villain. It's the gate, and gates open easily for travelers who approach them with clarity. Remember this phrase, travel confidence doesn't come from knowing every rule. It comes from being prepared, calm, and respectful. You don't need to sound perfect. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to demonstrate that you're exactly what you are. A traveler who knows where they're going, why they're going, and when they're leaving. Before we wrap up, 3 final travel truths to take with you. If you don't know, say so confidently, not nervously. If you're asked to clarify, do it simply, not defensively. If you're selected for secondary, stay calm. It's not punishment, it's procedure. Millions of travelers pass with ease every day, and now you're equipped to be one of them. Your turn. Have you ever had an interesting experience with immigration or customs? A question you didn't expect? A moment where preparation paid off, or panic almost got you flagged? Tell me in the comments. I read every story, and your experience might help someone travel smoother. And right now, there is a hidden form buried deep inside your airline's website that could save you hours of frustration, prevent your wheelchair from being destroyed, and guarantee you assistance the moment you step foot in the airport. And most airlines don't want you to find it. Every single day in America, roughly 26 wheelchairs and scooters are damaged, lost, or flat out destroyed by airlines. That's not some made-up number. The Department of Transportation confirmed it. In 2023 alone, U.S. Airlines mishandled over 11,500 wheelchairs and scooters. And then there's the headline that shook the entire industry. American Airlines got slapped with a record-breaking $50 million fine, the largest disability-related penalty in aviation history, for dropping passengers out of chairs and tossing wheelchairs down airport baggage ramps like old luggage. Passengers described being treated like cargo. One traveler said, "I felt like luggage, so I don't fly anymore." Senator Tammy Duckworth, a combat veteran who lost both legs in Iraq, told Congress that airlines broke 892 wheelchairs in a single month. She said breaking someone's wheelchair is like breaking their legs. Let that number sink in for just a second. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Most of these nightmares could be prevented if passengers knew how to properly pre-book wheelchair assistance before they ever step foot in an airport. But airlines bury that option so deep in their booking systems that the vast majority of people never even find it. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, step by step, airline by airline. I'm going to reveal the secret codes that get flagged in your ticket, codes that tell every single employee in that airport exactly what kind of help you need. And I'm giving you the exact phone numbers that connect you to real accessibility specialists, not some general customer service agent. Stay with me. This could change the way you or someone you love travels forever. First, you need to understand something critical. Under federal law, the Air Carrier Access Act, every airline operating in the United States is legally required to provide wheelchair assistance completely free of charge. It doesn't matter if you bought the cheapest basic economy seat or a first-class ticket worth thousands of dollars. It doesn't matter if you have a visible disability or an invisible one. No doctor's note is required, no proof of disability needed, nothing at all. If you request a wheelchair, they have to provide one. Period. The Department of Transportation is clear. Airlines must promptly provide wheelchair or guided assistance to any passenger who self-identifies as needing it. You could be recovering from knee surgery, dealing with chronic fatigue, managing a heart condition, or simply unable to walk the enormous distances that modern airports demand. At Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson, the farthest gate is nearly a full 2 miles from the check-in counter. That's a brutal walk even for someone in perfect health. But here's the catch. And pay close attention because this is the part airlines do not advertise. While the service is legally guaranteed, the quality of that service depends almost entirely on whether you requested it in advance. Show up at the airport counter without a pre-booking, and you might wait 30 minutes. You might wait an hour, or it could get much worse. In February 2025, about 20 wheelchair users, including elderly passengers, were left stranded overnight at a U.S. airport because United Airlines failed to provide enough staff and equipment. Even with advance notice, only one aisle chair and 2 employees showed up for all of them. A 75-year-old travel companion was forced to physically help with passenger transfers because the airline simply didn't have the people. Passengers couldn't get accessible transportation to hotels, so they slept in the terminal without their checked wheelchairs or scooters. That's why pre-booking isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. And that's exactly what airlines make unnecessarily difficult to find. Let me walk you through the hidden process, airline by airline. If you're watching this for a parent, grandparent, or someone you care about, send them this video, or better yet, sit down and do this process for them. When you book your flight, whether it's Delta, United, American Southwest, or JetBlue, there's a section during the booking process that most people scroll right past without noticing. It's tucked under a small label like Special Assistance, Accessibility Needs, or Additional Information. It is never front and center. You have to actively hunt for it. On Delta's website, you won't find a big button that says Request Wheelchair. After booking, you need to go to My Trips to add accessibility services. But here's what Delta doesn't advertise anywhere on the main page. They have a completely separate accessible service request form, an actual hidden online form that you can fill out if your travel date is more than 7 days away. A specialist personally reviews your submission and may contact you directly to coordinate everything. Their dedicated accessibility phone line is 404-209-3434. On top of that, Delta has a printable mobility device handling form you should physically attach to your wheelchair before flying. This form tells ground crews exactly how to handle, disassemble, and reassemble your specific chair, massively reducing the chance of damage. Most travelers have absolutely no idea these forms exist. On American Airlines, select Add Special Assistance when booking or managing your trip on airline.com or the American app. But here's the insider move. Call their special assistance line at 1-833-621-7070 and say the exact words, "I need to add special assistance to a flight." That phrase routes you to a trained accessibility specialist, not a general customer service agent reading from a script. The specialist inputs a special service request code directly into your booking record, the critical step most people skip. Make the agent read the code back to you before hanging up. Confirm it's correct and that it appears on every segment of your itinerary. If you have a connecting flight, that code needs to be on both legs. Otherwise, you land at your layover city and there's nobody waiting to help you. There are 3 wheelchair codes you absolutely need to memorize. WCHR, you can walk short distances and manage stairs, but need a wheelchair for long terminal distances. This is the most common code and covers most elderly travelers or anyone struggling with those mile-long airport corridors. WCHS, you can walk short distances but cannot handle stairs at all. This matters at airports that use stairways instead of jet bridges to board aircraft. WCHC, the most comprehensive level, you cannot walk any distance. You'll receive an aisle chair and full door-to-door assistance from the terminal entrance to your actual airplane seat, and the same in reverse on arrival. Here's the pro tip. Don't just say, I need a wheelchair. Be specific. Say, I need WCHR assistance, or I need WCHC, full curbside-to-seat assistance, including an aisle chair for boarding. The more precise you are, the better your code, and the dramatically better your experience. You can also stack additional codes on top. BLND for blind or reduced vision. Request assistance the moment you book your ticket. Don't wait a single day. The industry minimum is 48 hours before departure, but earlier is always better because it gives airlines more time to arrange staffing. If you're traveling with a battery-powered wheelchair, you must arrive at the airport 1 full hour earlier than normal check-in time. That's a federal requirement for battery handling procedures. Here's the golden step that separates experienced travelers from first-timers. Call the airline 24 hours before your flight to reconfirm your wheelchair request. Requests get lost. Systems glitch. Agents forget. One 5-minute phone call the day before your trip can save you from arriving at the airport and finding zero assistance waiting for you. Day of travel, you must self-identify at the airport. Even with perfect pre-booking, the airline doesn't know which person walking through the door made the request. Go straight to check-in or the special assistance desk, give your name, and confirm your SSR code is in the system. Your assistant takes you through check-in, through TSA's specialized screening process, straight to your gate, and you pre-board before every other passenger. On arrival, you'll deplane last, and an assistant meets you for the trip to baggage claim or ground transportation. Quick connection tip. Always book layovers of at least 90 minutes. Wheelchair assistance between gates takes significantly more time than walking, and tight connections are missed flights waiting to happen. Let's talk tipping, because this catches a lot of people off guard. The wheelchair service itself is 100% free under federal law. Airlines cannot charge a single cent. But the attendants pushing your wheelchair typically work for third-party contractors earning near minimum wage. Tipping isn't legally required, but it's absolutely customary in America and genuinely appreciated. For a short push, $2 to $5. Long haul through a major airport like Atlanta, Dallas-Fort Worth, or Denver, $5 to $10. Above and beyond service with heavy bags, restroom stops, or waiting during delays, $10 to $20. These folks work incredibly hard for very little pay, and even a few dollars truly means a lot to them. Now, know your legal rights when something goes wrong, because unfortunately, it happens far too often. If an airline damages your wheelchair, they must compensate you up to the original purchase price of the device. Custom power chairs can cost anywhere from $15,000 to over $25,000, and the airline is legally on the hook for every penny. Do not leave the airport without speaking to a complaint resolution official, known as a CRO. Every airline must have one available at every airport they serve. File your damage claim before you walk out that door. And Congress recently tripled the maximum fine per damaged mobility device to approximately $100,000 per incident. So the financial stakes are finally getting real. One more important thing you need to know. There's a growing phenomenon in airports called Jetway Jesus. Able-bodied travelers faking disability to skip security lines and snag priority boarding. They board in a wheelchair and then miraculously walk off the plane at their destination carrying their own bags. The International Air Transport Association reported a 30% yearly increase in wheelchair requests at major airports, and much of that surge isn't coming from people with actual disabilities. This abuse stretches already thin staffing and makes wait times dramatically longer for people who genuinely need the help. Pre-booking with a confirmed SSR code is your best defense against that growing backlog. It proves your request is legitimate and reserves dedicated staff specifically for you. So there it is, the hidden forms, the secret SSR codes, the exact phone numbers to real specialists, the timelines, your complete legal rights under federal law, everything the airlines don't make easy for you to find. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a terrible experience with wheelchair assistance at an airport? Did an airline damage or lose your chair? Or maybe you found a trick that made the whole process go perfectly? Drop your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and your experience might help someone else avoid a nightmare. If this video helped you or someone you care about, hit that like button right now, share it with anyone who needs to see it, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We put out content every single week that the travel industry doesn't want you to see. Tap the notification bell so you're always the first to know when a new one drops. I'll catch you in the next one.